Hey y'all, welcome back to the Black Legends Multi-City Virtual Book Tour. I'm your host, Afrikana Stories, and today's session is going to be a deep one. We're talking all things healing through faith, cannabis, and storytelling. We're joined by none other than Colin Wanjiru Chegue, founder of Zima 360 Wellness, and author of Memoirs of a Former Bitter Bee. Wanjiru's journey of healing from chronic pain, mental health struggles, and trauma is powerful. Through her work in wellness, she's using natural remedies like cannabis and sharing her story to lift up marginalized communities. Today, Wanjiru will take us through the medicinal benefits of natural ingredients, the significance of storytelling, and the future of Zima 360. As a sponsor of this tour, she's showing us what it means to heal from the inside out, mind, body, and soul. So, grab a seat and get ready for some real talk. Let's dive into this healing journey with Colin Wanjiru Chegue.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Black Legends Multi-City Virtual Book Tour. I'm your host, Afrikana Stories, Chief Storyteller, and I'm super excited to be back before you. So guys, if you have been joining me, we're like 2 weeks into the tour right now. We're going into our third week. So I hope you guys are having a great time. I hope you've been winning prizes because there's free gifts all on the tour page. If you haven't checked it out, go to the link, www.blackseedspublishing.com. Tour the page, look and see of all the great prizes. So again, welcome to or back to the Black Legends Multi-City Book Tour. And I'm sitting here today with one of my ace boon cones, y'all. I'm so excited. Zima 360 Wellness. She's the creator, the founder, the brains behind Zima 360 Wellness. And we're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show. But we've been on this healing journey together for quite some time in our business, in our personal life, just been walking together for quite some time now. So I'm super excited to have her back at the table now with Afrikana Stories to give all the scoop, y'all. The theme of the tour is the importance or the power of storytelling and why it's so important for you to share your story with the world. Table. Now, I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Okay, my name is Colin Wanjiru Chegue. I'm gonna give y'all the whole name. Yeah. Everybody calls me Wani though. And I am the owner of Zima 360 Wellness. And basically, I founded the company in 2017 because, number one, I'm a cannabis enthusiast, and I definitely believe in the power, the healing power of cannabis. And so when things were becoming legal, I saw a lot of people getting into the space, but I didn't see people of color. And also in terms of the edible space, I am a diabetic. And so if I want to use cannabis products or edibles for my own healing, there was not a lot available that was sugar-free that I liked, and I do not like gummies. So that was the main product that everyone's putting out. Yeah. So I decided to go in another direction and basically make my stuff diabetic friendly. So I started making savory things. And I wanted to keep it, like, again, I wanted to see us, people of color, especially people of the Caribbean diaspora, where the cannabis comes from, and the African diaspora. I wanted us to be in the space. I wanted to see dishes that I'm familiar with represented. So I started cooking them. And I started doing jerk seasoned wings or jerk salmon. Just basically, I started doing dinners and put my own little Caribbean spin on them. And what I did was I started making my own CBD oils and my own infused oils, infused honeys and things, and just experimenting. And the products became popular. And then basically, I have to say, this is definitely God speaking to me, because I came up with the idea to start really pushing the drinks. Because infused drinks are more readily like bioavailable, meaning like the medicine will get through your body quicker. So I started making Caribbean style drinks, which is I do an anti-inflammatory combination with pineapple, ginger, and turmeric. And then I also do a hibiscus tea, which is sorrel. So if you're from the Caribbean, or Africa, you're familiar with sorrel, or they call it bisap. They call it bisap in West Africa.
Yeah, and they do, yeah.
Yeah, and Jamaica down in South America. But anyway, basically that was my whole concept for coming up with Zima 360 Wellness, and the whole wellness part, the 360 degrees of wellness. I wanted to really speak to mind, body, and soul. So my other passion is talking about spiritual growth and sharing stories of my own journey. And which I started off with, maybe like 15 years ago now, if not longer. I started writing my own memoirs. And that process, which has been chronological, just basically writing and letting people know what the steps were to my own healing, and possibly hope that someone else can resonate with my own stories.
Yeah, so before we even get to your book, we ain't even getting there yet. Let's get back to 360. We coming to the book. I promise y'all, we coming to the book. Because this is going to really shock y'all when we tell you what the title of the book is, and even the making of the book, right? Because all of it was a process. But when we talk about the Zima 360 Wellness, and you mentioned there was the drink, you mentioned the pineapple, the turmeric, ginger, right? They make that now without the infused portion of it. So that alone, those ingredients alone has so many healing properties. But when you add onto it the infused part of it, it takes it to a whole different level.
Exactly.
And it works quicker to me, in my opinion, than it does just by itself, because the natural ingredients is great, but it takes so long for you to reach the benefits of it. So when you infuse it, it almost accelerates the healing process. Does it focus on one kind of healing? Like there's
no, not necessarily. CBD, which is what I infuse it with, and I focus more on CBD because again, THC is good and these things work in tandem. However, because of the legality, CBD is legal everywhere, so I can work with that. And CBD is the actual part of the cannabis plant that helps with inflammation. It also helps with anxiety. So these are two things, and helps with pain relief, right? So these are things that a lot of the population need. Elderly people with diabetes, people with digestive issues. These CBD specifically helps these things. And along with the ginger is good for digestion as well. Hibiscus with the sorrel, that's good for blood pressure. So all of these things, and because I use fresh ingredients, you're getting the natural healing of the ingredients of the plants, basically of the parts of nature that were put here to heal us.
Right.
The pineapple, like I said, the ginger, all of that stuff. The turmeric, definitely. You put turmeric in everything. That's very good for inflammation.
And I found out about turmeric as I was starting perimenopause. Like that was one of the first ingredients that I read about that was really good with some of the symptoms I was getting through perimenopause. But there's a healing property that comes with it that our ancestors, the flower of cannabis, they used that back in the Moses days. They put it on the altar and they didn't even smoke it. They lit it, and the smoke from the fumes was going up and was part of their worship to the Most High. So if you want to bring the Bible into it, it was already in the Bible before man made it a recreation and then put this stain on it. And then the church come and say you shouldn't do it. But I'm guaranteeing you, if we were to, I think they even use, I'm not going to even think, I know, because there's some research that shows that they even use part of the plant in the modern medicine. They just put the poison in with it. So they still use cannabis. I don't know. You're the scientist. I always call you the scientist.
Right now, there's a medicine called epidiol, I believe, that's used for epilepsy. And that is made with cannabis. But like there are uses for it. There's always been uses for it. But let's take it in even another direction. If you think about it, like I said, the places that produce the best cannabis are basically the poorest countries. But because regulations and stigma have been put on this plant.
Yes.
Now these countries can't export their own natural product.
Right.
But other people can come in and harvest their product.
Exactly.
And, you know what I mean? The people that have made the laws. So again, it's always, things have been tainted by colonialism and politics or whatever. But the reality is everything put on this earth was put here by God for your use. Yes. Right? And if you go on with the Bible, it says that in there as well. Cannabis is one of those things. Of course, humans misuse things.
Yeah.
I can speak from my own personal experience that I have experienced the benefits of cannabis for a few different things. And this has been going on my whole life. So this is well before all the research and everything that I did. And now there are a couple of graduate programs in pharmacology and just in general medicine, I believe, that teach cannabis education. This is a thing. And this is why I say when I go to these conferences, because I've been to a couple of cannabis science conferences. Now get that, science. It's nothing but scientists and tech engineers in there. There's not one of us in there. Because we still believe that this is not a viable industry. But when I go, I see nothing but everyone else taking advantage of this. And it's going to blow up because it's going to get legalized around the world eventually. So I'm trying to keep my foot in on the ground floor and just take it as far as it can go. And since I believe I'm divinely led in whatever business enterprise I get into, because I definitely prayed on this one because of the legality.
You can just wake up and say, I'm going to do this.
No, because I wasn't trying to go to jail, but you know what I'm saying? But
you're the first one they put in jail is us.
I felt like I was led to this because it's part of my story, and it also can be part of healing for others. So if you just know the right way. So that's like the whole large concept right there. But the stigma needs to definitely be eradicated around cannabis because especially with it becoming legal, if you could put up with regular cigarette smoke and alcohol, at least
can pretty much kill you out. That can kill you.
They have no benefits.
But
no benefits.
And that's one thing I really want to stress from this broadcast. I think it's important for the people to know why I support it so much is because if it had not been for cannabis, I wouldn't be sitting before you today. It was because of that because I have what's a chronic pain and I haven't felt that chronic pain since I've been using. So that's my story is it has kept me, it has healed me. And it even like the mental stability, like the anxiety, depression, those things that I was on medicine for.
Absolutely.
Since I've been in Ghana, I have not been on any pharmaceutical medicine at all. My only medicine has been I meditate. If I could cook with it, if I could make the drinks from it, I would definitely do. But when I get you and it's legal for you to mail me that strength, that's exactly
I can just come over there and make you some.
That would be perfect too. I would fly you over there just to make me a whole bunch of pineapple, ginger, turmeric juice because I drink that anyway. But if there's different ways for me to partake it, when I was with you in Maryland, the creams, you used to make the oil and I would put that on my ailing joint and that joint will stop hurting.
Okay.
So I became a believer because I decided that I wanted to try something different because traditional medicine was not working enough for me. It kept me, it's so weird about it. I was taking the medicine for depression and it made me even more depressed. It gave me hallucinations. I was hallucinating all the time. I was having all kinds of weird dreams. I stopped that and I started putting the cannabis in my system. All of that went away. All of the irregular weight gaining. One day I'm fat and one day I'm skinny. The fluctuation of the weights, all of that stuff stopped because I learned where it came from. That's what I did. I did the research on, okay, so who came up with this cannabis thing? Then I learned about the flower and things like I don't know the scientific parts of it like you do. Like you have done serious research about it and built a wellness business around it, which is what I admire the most. That lasagna, y'all. slam it, slap, as my niece would say, slap, that slap. But I guess I was ready to give up religion anyway. I was so sick of people telling me who God was.
Mm-hmm.
My whole life. God is not going to approve of this. He's not going to. So we let men rape little kids. we let a lot of violent stuff go on. But when we bring up cannabis, it's a whole completely different conversation. There's no way I would do that. But yet you do some other sneaky shit
right.
that is even worse than smoking. So shut up, diss me with all that kind of stuff, all the judgment that people have with cannabis. I'm hoping that this conversation with I'm not even trying to get you to smoke cannabis. I'm trying to get you to stop judging it and stop judging people who use it simply to feel better. Not all of us are using it for recreational purposes.
And even if you do, it's okay. However, I will say this, another thing that made me a for real believer, even though like I said, I'd been an enthusiast, I actually met people that had cancer, like last stages. They'd given up on it and they started doing a cannabis regimen, and cancer is completely gone. Not just one person, but a few. And then I've also met people that were on, opioids, and were able to wean off of opioids and transition to cannabis, and their lives are much healthier. It's just so many things, but people, again, everything is attached to that propaganda that you were told years ago. And it's not for everyone. There are populations that can't use it, like people that are schizophrenic or prone to bipolar disorder. Yes, they cannot use it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It exacerbates the condition. And again, maybe some people are prone to like high anxiety, so certain strains you can't smoke, right? Like a sativa you couldn't smoke, but if you have anxiety, a good indica, have you chill. A good CBD strain, have you chill. Just it's about knowing, what your medicine is, right?
Yeah, and what your body makeup is. I had to learn a lot about my body chemicals and my makeup and what I can handle, what I can't handle. I did a lot of studying on me. But I've always been rebellious anyway, Wani. When people tell me don't do something, that's the first thing I'm going to do, because there's a reason why they're trying to keep me from doing it.
True.
And 1 out of 10 times is better for me anyway. So you're trying to keep me from feeling better. That's how I see it. I've always been against people telling me what to do.
I'm always a person that tries to study my own body as well, because I'm that person that's going to question everything you tell me. So I'm going to do my own research. So when the doctors have tried to put me on antidepressant medication, and I would ask, okay, what does this stuff do? It's the same exact thing that weed does. So I'm like, why would I pay for something with more side effects? And I get no side effects with this. And once I learned about the different ways of ingesting other than smoking blunts, I'm good. I've had no problems. So again, everybody has to do what's best for them. But I'm just putting out some information, and people do with it as they will. But I have to say, I do have testimonies from a lot of my clients that the CBD, the food has helped them tame their chronic pain. I had a client that had, I believe she has not MS, rheumatoid arthritis. And that she told me that the food helped her. I cooked for her for about a couple of years, actually.
Wow.
So it works. And I have people that repeat order the CBD drinks because it works for them. I drank some the other day, and when I got up the next day, I was like, oh, wow. Like I was out for 8 hours. I need to do this more often. Drink my own stuff. But
you always shock yourself when it happens. That's what it's going to
I know, right? Because I'm so used to, this is going to sound crazy, but you know how back in the day, I was doing some other kind of business, and the whole rule was you don't get high on your own supplies. So I'm in the habit of not using my own stuff. But I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's not that. Let me go ahead and advertise my own stuff.
Right. This is the supply you actually do want.
Yeah, I do. Yes. And look, so now I know I can stand behind my product.
Yes,
You
and I can
feeling some
stand behind
relief.
it too, honey. I can stand behind it too, because I've partaked in it. I've had some, and it really does make a difference for me. And so, what's been different here since I'm visiting America. I call it America. Like I no longer live, like I'm no longer an American citizen. But I've been
I'm an
talking
expat.
I am a real expat now, for real. But since I've been back in America, I have not been participating, or I haven't had my cannabis, especially like I do at home. I'm so free about it in Ghana. When I call Ghana home now. But since I've been here, I haven't had it. And so me being off of it for almost 2 months now, I've already, every night I dream about my first week of going home, and just knowing that honey, like I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But my body has been feeling like draggish, like sluggish, the pain. I have nothing to hide that nerve pain now. So when it comes, I have to wait it out. But I don't. It took a couple of weeks even before it even came back, because it was so in my system, so well out in my system, that it took a couple of weeks for it to wear out. But now I'm feeling it. I'm feeling more anxious now. I'm feeling more irritable now. You can count part of that towards perimenopause, but truly it's because I haven't been taking cannabis like I normally do. And so I don't have that buffer of that, like the pain. I feel everything now. And it sucks. And so now all I do is dream about, oh my God, when I get back, honey, I can get back on track of feeling good again, feeling healthy again, feeling like strong again. And it gives me so much energy. And even being creative, like my creativity has stifled since I've been here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Like I can really create and be in my zone when I feel free, and I don't feel free here. Unfortunately, I don't. And it's the truth, but it's because I've learned, I have created a space with cannabis that my body feels so much better than it does with, and I feel that void since I've been. Anyway, so enough about the cannabis thing, but I'm not trying to convince people to try it, but just to educate yourself about it before you make judgment. It may not be for you. Kudos, but do the research first. Educate yourself about it first, because one thing is not going away. The government's going to find a way when as soon as they can determine how they can make the most off of you from it. That's exactly what they're going to do. That's why they're making it legal. But did you know that it wasn't illegal in the beginning? So if you do most people don't go back and read history books. It's not in the history books that they give you at school, by the way.
Once again, it goes back to race as to why it's illegal. So unfortunately, a lot of things in this country come back to race.
Exactly. Unfortunately. But anyway, we don't even get into that whole part.
No, we can save that for next April.
We'll see.
For 420. We could do a 420 series.
I know, that would be great, just to educate people like why you were turned against it in the beginning, because most of you who are turned against it would turn against it from something that you heard, not by something that you know.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what turns people to it. It's called pain, right?
Pain. So, exactly.
And I've turned out a couple of senior citizens off the
hello.
They be asking for it now.
I remember a party that we went to where you were hosting a party and introducing the CBD oil, CBD food. And most of the women who came there, they were from the church, like clutching they came from the church, but by the time they tasted and they understood, and you did this whole education spiel before you introduced the drinks, and you cooked you had a little appetizer. I remember the whole thing. I was so mad because I helped prepare the food, but I couldn't get none of it because them jokers ate it so quickly. And the church women were the first ones begging you for your information. How can they order more? Because you killed all the myths that they have been told for years, walking around in pain without needing to. And they tried on the oil and they felt so much better just sitting there right there, like started working right then. They was like, oh my God, I need a tall bottle of this, a tall bottle of that. Like, you turn the non-believers into believers. And once you try it and for a fact, because it's going to take away the pain, period. Like, I've never known someone try it and it didn't take away the pain. It's a true natural healing.
Yeah.
Not the lace stuff. We're not talking, because you hear those stories too. You become a crackhead, people die because they put some other stuff in it. That's just ignorance. I'm not even talking about, I'm talking about the true natural healing of cannabis, CBD. So now moving on to, not to belabor the point, but you're also an author, aren't you, Wani?
Yes, I am.
Your first book came out. I'm gonna let you get a title. I love it.
The title of my book is.
Ooh, I'll bring it up to the camera.
Okay. So the title of my book is Memoirs of a Former Bitter Bitch.
Yes.
And I had to wait to write the book until the former was the truth. Because I couldn't just write the story and just be like, damn, ain't no healing involved. What happened? But the good thing about the story is, as you can see, it turned out. But basically, I wrote the book. This is the first in a series of chronological memoirs. And basically, the concept behind it was, this first book is about my life growing up in New York up until I went into the Army, I actually went into the Army at 17. I graduated from high school at 16, went to college. That did not work out because I was too immature for the college. I partied for the whole year. So then went to the Army, and then life began. But I did go through a lot of things in my early childhood. And when I was writing it, I was like, oh my God, like, I've lived a million lifetimes. So it basically, I should give a trigger warning, because now I know what those things are. Basically, it does have a bit of trauma in there, but it's written in my own style, which I'm a humorous person, so I'm not going to belabor the sadness. So, and it's a quick read, but I encourage people, especially, I wrote it also because I am gay. I've been gay my whole life, and I'm also a Christian. And these are two things that don't always go together. Yeah. You're taught growing up that they don't go together. But I've always been on a quest, talking to God my whole life. Yo, how can I be going to hell? But you made me like this. I don't understand. So this book kind of talks about my step-by-step journey into accepting myself, which now I fully accept myself. I say that my identity is really in my spirituality. Yes, I'm Black, I'm gay, I'm a woman, but if you ask me how do I identify, I don't like to put myself in a box. I just say I'm a child of God. That's pretty much what I am. I'm a healer, I'm a believer, but the story of how I got to this point, that's what I wanted to tell. And I also wanted to tell people, this is what they don't tell you when you start doing the work. Yes. The work is for your whole life. Yes. Okay. Some things you never, ever get over. You just learn how to process them and handle them without destroying yourself. And that's pretty much
or anybody else.
Or anybody else. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell as to what the book is about. But I encourage people to go on Amazon and pick it up. It's like I said, it's a quick read.
The link is going to be in the description of this video.
Okay.
So they can get the copy of the book. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please. But I think you'll find it entertaining. And I grew up in New York in the 80s. So if you're into nostalgia, hearing about my New York, because it's different from the New York now.
Hip hop,
the birth of hip hop, all of that. I was there for all of that. So I write about things, like I said, from my perspective.
Which is also on your website too. You have a blog that's on your website, Zima360wellness.com, right?
Yep, Zima360 Wellness. My blog was called Wani's World, but it's all boiled into the Zima360 Wellness. But I'm going to start uploading more things, because before my business was focused on selling food and things like that, but I'm really transitioning more to the writing and speaking, just because I'm in school now. I'm in grad school, so I haven't really had time to consistently churn out the dinners like I used to. So I don't want to advertise that. Now the drinks, you can get those anytime.
Yeah.
But I would like to really start talking more about like spiritual growth and mental health and healing and wellness, like herbal healing. I will do things on cooking, like my philosophy for cooking. Like I'm not a chef and I'm not a nutritionist,
Girl,
but
bye.
I do what works for me. That's all I can say. I do what
You
works
have
for
never
me.
cooked a bad nothing as long as I've known you. Like everything. You the one got me eating the white stuff, the cauliflower.
Oh.
I would not eat cauliflower or Brussels sprouts. Oh my God, they were disgusting. But honey, when you made them that roasted Brussels, honey, please, I ain't never tasted nothing bad that you ever made.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My girl, please. But you're being so modest about it. Let me tell people, when I first met Wani, she was not this open butterfly that you see before you.
Oh my goodness.
She was not an emotional cry before you, nothing. She was so hard. She was not trying to show any type of emotion. But I tell you, when God start working on you, when your God start working on you, I'm going to put it your God, because it is a personal relationship that you have with your own creator. So however you call him, Allah, God,
her,
Yahweh, however
Spirit.
he, she, whoever your creator is to you, when you begin to make amends with that relationship, because a lot of us don't think that God loves us because of maybe things that we've done or whatever that we convinced ourselves of, but it's really just about self-love. If you love yourself, then that's that relationship that you have with your creator. He created you. She created you. And when I first met Wani was like, she was so not trying to be emotional. She didn't cry or none of that. But when she told me the topic, the title of her book, Memoirs of a Former Bitter Bitch, I became so mesmerized. And listen, we have to put this book out, because it was, to me, hearing about it and listening to her tell her story, I said, there are so many people who feel, including me, who feel that same way, who thought that same way about themselves. And so when she began to work on it, I think I even told you, this is not going to be a book that you can write overnight, because what you're doing is you're healing yourself. That's going to heal the world. It starts with you first. Before that healing goes out, it comes through. And then that through thing is not a pleasant experience. And so one, you have to learn first, forgive yourself, and then allow yourself to process that. I want to ask you now, I think I know what your greatest challenge of telling your book was. Is one, it was telling the story. It was admitting that it happened. Whatever it is, you got to buy the book. The link is in the description. I'm telling you everything. You got to go get the book. But what do you think your biggest blessing out of writing the book? What do you think your biggest blessing was?
The biggest blessing for me, I think, was the catharsis of it, like getting it out. And by reading my own story, like I said, I recognize that I've been through a lot of things that I didn't want to admit affected me. So by seeing that out written on paper, it made me acknowledge and then start the real healing work. So writing the book was like I said, it was a cathartic process, but I thought I was good. And once it was done, I was like, oh, I'm good. And the fact that through DNA ancestry, I discovered new relatives, and the new relatives needed to know about their father. So it just so happened that the book was able to give them that information. So that was one thing I thought in my mind. I'm like, oh, that's the reason God had me write the book. However,
he never
it ain't never what you think. So I was like, okay, I'm cool. But after that, I had the opportunity to enroll in a mental health counseling program for graduate school. And I was like, oh, God made this possible for me. I didn't know this was going to happen. And I get in this program, I was like, oh, God got jokes straight up, because all of the stuff that I wrote in the book for the last 2 years, I've had to regurgitate that and really pick through the emotions and the effects, the literal effects of trauma that have followed me through my adult life, that I never wanted to deal with. And I'm quite sure many people in my generation, especially, have been through these same traumas, but we were all taught to keep that inside. We were all taught to be, like you said, I was unemotional. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a West Indian. You know what I'm saying?
Hip hop. Yes.
My mother used to tell me, don't ever let them see you cry. Don't ever let them see you sweat. Before you step out that house, you get that face together. And that's how I was. So when that movie Salt came out, that was my goal. I wanted to be like Angelina Jolie. She showed no emotion. She was killing people, getting stabbed up. She like, no, and I was like, that's who I'm gonna be. But of course, that's not healthy. So anyway, when I had to take this program, it really made me process. And that's why it's been taking me so long to start on book 2, because I realized, oh, wow, I have to sit in this and really, and get the lessons. So the lessons are going to come out in the next bit of stories. But I didn't recognize that, like you said, the healing came with me first before the rest of it goes out. I feel like God had to do that to force me to do the work. I thought I had done it. It's not like I hadn't done therapy and stuff.
Right.
But clearly I wasn't.
You wrote the book and that was it.
I was on that surface right there. Like that has been I guess the challenge and the blessing for real. But now that it's been done, I know I can do it. And I know I can keep going. And even though I still don't know the full picture, I feel like God never gives you the full picture. He just gives me step by step. So this is the next step.
Yeah. It's too overwhelming if you did. And I'm so grateful that he's the all wise and all knowing, because like what you're going through now, even with your graduate school and the evolution of Zima 360 Wellness, it's all writing the next couple of books, because you're going to learn something and evolve even greater. The more that you study yourself, the more you realize, wow, I had this gift. Oh my goodness. Like I've discovered things about me that I had, even me studying my ancestral lineage and where I came from, and then how I communicate with them, the skills and the gifts. I now realize that whatever I need, whatever skill I need to get me through this step that I'm on right now, I have it. It comes to me as I need it. Right. So that's the same thing with you. Like I said, you're so talented. I call you my scientist. And when I start my farm in Ghana, my all natural farm with the different strands of healing, because I do want to produce healing products, whether it's lotion, food, or whatever. I want to grow on my land. I want to do that. And I want the scientists, you, to come out and look at the soil and tell me, girl, this is trash. I depend on you for that, because I know you have that knowledge. That's why I call you the scientist. Girl, you can go into any lab, you can go into any kitchen with air and come out with a whole 6-course meal.
You know what?
Nothing but water and flour come out with a whole 6-course meal and dessert and all.
Are you silly? I thank you. I thank you for that confidence. Thank you very much.
A gift. It really is a gift. And the people, your personality, like you saying how you're a comedian, and you are, like, even when you wrote the book, you can talk about something so dramatic and so traumatic, and people are laughing through it, but not knowing that laughter is healing. So even when they're laughing, they're healing. And that's that gift that you have. A lot of people sleep on that, but I don't. So thank you so much for being a part of my life, because had it not been for you introducing cannabis to me in the way that you did, because before you, I just thought about it as recreational. I never thought about it. I started smoking recreationally because I was going through something traumatic with my daughter. And to me, I'm like, let me just smoke and get high. That's what I was just trying to get the high feeling from it, the THC. But you taught me a whole different world of it, where I can use it to actually heal my body, which is what I do. I just think differently. I move differently. So there's anyone outside of me cannot deny that I have a higher being that's looking out. I am a kept.
Absolutely.
Right.
I know. Trust me,
And
I
you
know.
and I have had these conversations about the same thing, because I even denied, I had such a low self-esteem. There's no way God could use me, because I was raped when I was a little girl. I was treated like trash. I went through I was like, there's no way he can use something like me. I didn't even consider myself human. I just thought I was cursed. But it's a way of, like, my lifestyle now is completely different. My faith is different now, because I stopped believing what everybody else said. And when I stopped going to church, that's when my life really changed around. That's when I no longer had the noise of what people were telling me about who God was. I went on a journey to find him for myself.
And I did something similar, starting back when I was in the Army.
Yes.
Like I said, that's why I like to detail all of that in the story, because so many of these things have happened, like miraculous things that have happened to people like you and I, that if you tell people, they wouldn't believe it. And if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't believe it myself, because I didn't know God moved like that. Like certain things, you'd be like, God, you can do that? Okay. So so even just like you, as far as since I know you a nomad, and I've known you to live a few different places, I've never known you to have, I only knew you to have a steady 9 to 5 when I first met you. But after that, it's all whatever you created. And I'm like, yo, how are you sustaining yourself? But you are the one person that I know, like, hooking you up.
I can't even tell you how I'm being. All I know is there's a story in the Bible about this lady, a woman who had this barrel, and the barrel was never empty. Every time she went to pull oil out of it, it was there. It was never empty. That is truly my life. Like, I am never without, because whatever he gives me, I'm going to give it to somebody else. That's my way of maintaining life. I can't tell you how I moved over to Ghana. I can't tell you. I've lived in so many, like a nomad. Like, I have a refrigerator, a bed, a stove, my computer. I have my computer desk. That's where I do all my work is on my computer. I literally can pick up my whole house and move and go wherever. All I need is running water. That's where I'm going to. Where's the water? And if I can figure out how to carry my own power supply and solar, I would do that too.
Wow.
So that I won't have to rely on anything or anybody. But that's just how, and I don't even know how I know how I am, because that's in my blood. And I truly believe that wherever I am, he's going to sustain me. Not that he's led me there, but he's with me everywhere I go. I don't have to ask him, should I move there? I don't have to ask him for nothing. I move and he just covers me.
Yeah.
I don't need that permission, because he's given me the permission with life.
I know that's
I
right.
will withhold no good thing from you. He won't withhold it from me. So I don't need to go to permission and pray and wait 6 months for an answer. I'm gonna move and he's gonna be right there. He's already made that way. All I'm saying, I'm going to Ghana, so he just go ahead and pay that way. Go ahead, baby. This is gonna be your house. I'm gonna set you up with the driver. I'm gonna set you up with makes you comfortable. All I have to do is say what I want.
I know that's right. And that's the type of faith I encourage people to have. Yeah, I'm building mine.
You have it too.
I'm halfway there already. I'm already halfway. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm still working on that. Of course, you can get stronger in faith, but that is I'm gonna say that's the goal of my life, is to be very strong in faith and be an encourager. Like those.
See, I think that you already are. I already see. We draw from each other's strength, right? That's what I believe.
That iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I ain't gonna be around no rusted nothing. I ain't got time to be carrying no dead weight. And so
I know that's right.
We friends, we are sharpening each other. Like, I need you for that scientist stuff. You need me for the business.
Absolutely. I need you for that execution.
Exactly. That's what friendship, and that's what community, and that's what family is. You know, and even in us finding each other, God was all in that. Like, he used people just to bring us.
Listen, you already know. I told you I had a dream about you before I even linked up with you, which was so crazy to me, because I didn't even know you then. I'm like, who was this person?
And I'm like, dream of that. I'm so glad you brought that up. You are a that's a whole other that you have. Again, you don't even know where these dreams come from, but you have them like years before it even happened, things that even happen. And yeah, that's a whole other.
And then you know what's so crazy is every time this stuff happens, I'll be acting all shocked. And my friends are like, you told me this 2 years ago. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, thanks, Jesus. Thanks.
It's so funny. It's so funny. That's what I love about you and God, too, because you'll speak it and then he does it and you get shocked about it. Like he keeps surprising you. He keeps
right
on your own gift. I'm like, I don't even know how that happened, but yeah, that's how it is. No, I'm not going to take too much of y'all. Listen, we can go on. It's such an amazing, it's one, when you find someone that you can really have a good conversation with and speak your truth. Like you don't have to pretend to be.
You don't have to censor yourself at all.
Water yourself down. You don't have to tone it down for nobody. Like I can literally be myself with you and then say some shocking things that have other people clutching their pearls and oh my God, she speaks like that. Oh, yeah, I don't have to do that with you.
You sure don't, girl, because I don't even own no pearls to clutch. No pearls here. Okay.
Zima 360. What else? What's next for the people? What else can they expect?
What's next is going to be more videos like this, like basically being in conversation with people, having the hard conversations about mental health, about the importance of being connected to spirit, right? To your creator, just for your own personal peace and for direction, purpose in your life, right? And then more, basically, I'm going to do some cooking videos, but I ain't even going to lie, y'all. When school is in session, ain't nothing popping off on the food thing. I don't think I've cooked in a while, and I feel like every semester I always overestimate what I can do. So this time I'm not lying to myself. It's going to be writing and speaking, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then hopefully my book will be out early next year. We're going to say that. Hopefully through Black Seed this time, because I'm tired of doing it myself. But we're going to talk about that.
I'll change my mind in a minute. So do it before I retire. Okay. Don't make me have to come out of retirement to publish your book. If I do, I will put it all into marketing that I come out of retirement to publish it. But I will. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. No, I'm not gonna wait till you retire this time. I'm gonna get it out. But no, that's it. And I'm really trying to create content. That's basically what I'm planning on doing next. We're gonna say that. Yeah.
I hope that Black Seeds can help you with that too, because you have so much to give and so much to share. And it's so important. You guys, my book that I wrote, Your Book is Your Brand, talks about, one, how I was able to build the life that I have now, all of my secrets and everything I did, even with my podcasting, my podcast schedule, how to set that, that's all up in. I give a lot of free templates away that's in the book that you can get. But it's more than so building your brand, it's building your legacy, and it's leaving a spot in this world. If I had gone through so much in my life, I don't want people to remember me by the trauma. I want to remember me by the blessing and the outcome. But it took a journey for me to get here. And it wasn't easy, but it was definitely necessary. Oh, guys, thank you for being a part of the Black Legends Multi-City virtual book tour. Please visit the website if you want to win any of the prizes. I'm even giving away free copies of the books, but you'll have to be a ticket holder. Go to blackseedspublishing.com. The link is also in the description of this video. Thank you, and see you guys on the next one. Bye.
All righty.
What an incredible session. Colin brought the heat, sharing her powerful story of resilience and healing through Zima 360 Wellness. From cannabis to faith, her journey reminds us that healing is about more than just medicine. It's about storytelling, self-love, and lifting each other up. And y'all, we're not done yet. Next up, we're heading to Austin, Texas, where Nicola Myers-Gardere will be sharing her insights on raising resilience, all about building stronger families and communities. So keep tuning in, stay inspired, and remember, Healing is a journey, not a destination. See you soon.